Hello again, and welcome to Redacted Nuisance. I'm Dr. J, use they as a pronoun. It's called Redacted Nuisance because I wanted to originally call it Queer Nuisance, but I recognise that using the word queer would mean that some people wouldn't be able to get this. I just recorded number 14, and I'm in such a triggered state that I'm actually struggling to function, and I'm like, I want to express this as well. So if you listen to, very rarely for me, that you might need to understand something. So in 14, in the last episode, in the episode that's just before this one, I talked about an incident that had happened in 2008, 2009 at Covent Garden, and how it was relatively benign, diffused with a bit of humour. The person was mortified at even having made the challenge. The reason I'm so triggered is like I said there, that incident, that would not go the same way now. And that is very, and that recognizing that the safety that I had, that I lived in, that I came over here from New Zealand and came out as non-binary because I understood what the word was. I was introduced to some ideas, so I did I managed to identify as transgressive non-binary genderqueer, which is my full gender, and that is on a statutory declaration thanks to the New Zealand government. And thanks also to the New Zealand government, I have a birth certificate that has my gender as non-binary from birth. Full stop. No questions, no explanations needed, no previous genders understood. This is and always was. Jay's birth gender was non-binary. Wonderful, wonderful things to have. That's the amazing part of this world. The unamazing part of this world is that thanks to all kinds of, well, shite that's come through, and it was there all the time, and it's been there since 2005, 2006. It's just gotten, I don't know whether it's gotten louder or people have been given permission. I'm going to go this way. Thanks to Brexit, thanks to the discussions around that, thanks to the discourse around trans that, well, let's name the beast, J.K. Rowling and other very, very wealthy, white, cis women have decided to fund a discourse around trans that is seeking to obliterate me because they see me as a threat for whatever reason. I don't understand the fact that you could see me as threatening, but I understand that they may see, and they will turn around and say, oh, but it's not people like you. You're just a superwoman. You're just like a woman, but you're not a woman. You've just chosen to identify something else. It's like, I never identified as a woman. When I tried to be a woman, it felt wrong and it felt itchy, and I couldn't get my head around it. But the societal space that we live in, the way that mainstream media discourse, the way that the government discourse, the way that the political discourse, the way that the systems of this, the political systems, the medical systems, the administrative systems are set up. I have to fight every single time to be recognised. As who I am. I have to deal with being misgendered, mispronounced. I'm just like, yeah, whatever. Call me whatever. If you like me and you pay a bit of attention, you'll call me they. Also, shout out to my lovely friends at Ginger Pig. Okay, here's a small thing. So I'm talking about the shit of this world and the fact that the social media discourse and has made it far more toxic to be myself out in this space. And then I remember I go to the Ginger Pig up in Borough. which is a wonderful butcher's. I eat a little bit of meat every week. So I go up there and I get my very, very small portions of meat. Hilariously small portions, according to the people who serve me. One of the people there, I haven't caught her name, and that is my bad, but I did catch her pronoun. She remembers me. I loudly dressed, blue haired, eats a single lamb cutlet, so very, very much memorable. I'm a memorable person. She asked me my pronoun, and when somebody else served me yesterday, she started off by saying she, and then she corrected herself and she said, "Oh, I mean they. I'm so sorry. I completely forgot. I still haven't quite gotten used to using they pronouns." And I'm like, I can just feel, I felt so seen, I felt so loved, I felt so cared for in just a very small micro interaction of somebody who sells me a lamb cutlet maybe once a fortnight. Has paid attention to my pronouns, has doing their best to remember them, and wishes to show me that they understand this. And I'm just like, so there are great people in the world, usually quite a bit younger than me. The people of my age in their 50s and 60s and onwards, they're the ones who are virulently trying, have virulently since, in the last 15 or so years, gone from being, and I will say the interaction around the toilet that I talked about, with me being challenged in a kind of a that way, was, I'm going to use the word benign, but it's not benign. It's because somebody is still challenging, but it was also not acceptable behaviour. That this middle class Women's Institute, obviously Women's Institute going woman, and because she was wearing very nice Marks and Sparks, I must say. And yes, darling, I know it probably wasn't Marks and Sparks, but that's what I'm saying that you were wearing. Very nice Marks and Sparks dress. That she felt shame for asking me and challenging that I was coming out of the women's toilets is not a sense that she would have now. If she did the same thing now, she would feel quite justified. She would have a sense of pride, and that is what has changed. People who challenge where I pee, people who challenge my existence, have gone from feeling shameful for their bigotry to feeling proud of their bigotry because there is a space made for them within the discourse. The discourse has said, hey, middle class lady, it is completely fine to say to somebody who is walking out of the women's toilets who you think may not be within the confines, your narrow confines of what a woman is, it is completely fine now for you to ask a question of them. In the same way that 15 years ago, it was embarrassing for her to have done that. It was embarrassing for her to have done that and the people around her felt embarrassment for her and would tease her potentially about the way that she misread me. Whereas these days they would be like, oh, well done you protected women, go you did the thing that we as Brexiteers and Leave voters and middle class people should be doing. And it's that change that has really fucked me up recently, because nowhere's safe. You know, in case you haven't noticed from the stories that I tell and from the way that I talk, I'm charming. Well, I can be charming. I can be charming. When I'm in public, I will be charming. I will stand in the toilet queue and I will chat to the person beside me if they're up for chatting. You know, are you enjoying the show? I will enter into a conversation. I entered into a conversation last night, which was wonderful because I was at a very emotional show by myself, and somebody else in the toilet queue was also struggling with the emotions, and I talked about it with her and her friend and was overheard by other people, but erringly polite. It's one of the things of being a working class kid playing up. Sometimes you just kind of play up on the, I can be polite, I can do this thing, I can perform middle classness, I can perform garrulousness. I'm doing too many nesses. Being garrulous. Being, I'm playing my father. I am playing somebody who could be charming, who could find a nice little line, who could make a little remark to bring a smile to somebody's face. And it's that charmingness that gets me through a lot of this stuff, because I was at the National Theatre in the Olivier. For those who don't know, if you're in the circle, there's lots of stairs up and down, and because there's lots of stairs up and down, there's not an accessible toilet unless you go down to the stalls. And I wasn't going to climb all the stairs up to the top of the circle and then climb all the way down, or catch a lift all the way down to the stalls to use an accessible toilet to come all the way back up and down the stairs, if I could just go to one of the gendered toilets. So I was like, okay, fuck it. And because the women's is genuinely, and this is from somebody who uses both genders' toilets multiple times. I usually use the women's, not because I think I'm any safer there, or not because I think I get any less challenges there. In fact, men don't talk, and it's actually far easier to use the men's toilets. It's just they fucking stink. I'm sorry, men, you stink. Yeah, yes, you smelly. Testosterone has not done you any favours, babes. You stink. Men's toilets always smell disgusting. When I cleaned toilets when I was a teenager, as one of my part-time jobs, I was a cleaner, and I had to clean the men's urinals, and it stinks. And it's one of those smells that just pervades everywhere. Women's toilets, not to say that they smell that much more pleasanter, but women, it's just generally just a layer pleasanter. And women would also wash their fucking hands. Men, I'm sorry, half the time you don't wash your hands. I'm like, ugh. So, anyway, so I'm queued for the women, and I'm having this chat, and being garrulous and being friendly, and that just, and one of the weird things is instead of chatting to women who are close in age to me, because that would give the impression that I might be chatting them up, I chat to very much older women, although maybe hoping that one day I'll meet another Renee, but also chatting to older women who are often standing there and are always quite ready to chat. I mean, seriously, if you want to get into a conversation, just choose somebody who's a little bit older and say hello, or are you enjoying the show, or even something in passing. Is the queue very long, or anything like that, and you'll find yourself in a conversation for sure, especially if they're northern. So, sorry, this is PTSD. This is CPTSD moment. My brain is still not 100%. I have lost my train of thought. I know that I was talking about safety, I was talking about the change in discourse. And I was safe, I was unthreatened, all of those things. But I also had to work to make myself safe and unthreatened, because I had to perform helplessness. I had to perform I'm overwhelmed by emotion, which I was, but I had to be vulnerable. I had to stand in a queue of women, while wearing my skate shorts and a loud shirt and a keffiyeh scarf. I was stylish, I was gorgeous, but also I am standing there not fitting in to the ideal of body and of dress of the people around me. And I am needing to find a way to be disarming. And because I can find a way to be disarming, I can find a way to be safe. And that is what the current situation has put on me. I have to expend emotional effort. I have to expend effort just to safely stand in a toilet queue.